My name is Daniel Carter, and I worked as an air traffic controller in the United States. On July 17, 1975, Flight 914 took off from New York, heading to Miami with 57 passengers and 6 crew members on board. Everything seemed normal, but 2 hours after takeoff, the plane suddenly disappeared from radar. No distress signal, no emergency call. Nothing. Search teams spent months looking for the aircraft, but they found no wreckage, no bodies, and no clues. Eventually, everyone accepted that Flight 914 had been lost forever. Years passed. Families grew old. Some passengers were declared legally dead. The incident became one of aviation's greatest mysteries. Then, 50 years later, in 2025, something impossible happened. At around 2:30 p.m., an unidentified aircraft appeared on radar near Miami International Airport. Its transponder code matched Flight 914. At first, we thought it was a mistake, but the aircraft's identification was clear. Flight 914, the same plane that had vanished 50 years earlier. Pilots nearby reported seeing an old passenger plane flying normally. The tower contacted the aircraft. "Identify yourself," a calm voice replied. "This is Flight 914 from New York, requesting permission to land." Everyone in the control room froze. The pilot sounded completely normal, as if only a few hours had passed. The plane landed safely. Emergency crews surrounded it. When the doors opened, passengers walked out calmly. None of them had aged. They still wore clothes from the 1970s. Newspapers in their bags were dated July 17, 1975. One little girl who had boarded at the age of 8 looked exactly the same. To them, the flight had lasted only 3 hours. Doctors and scientists rushed to investigate. But one thing terrified everyone: the pilot's final recording. According to him, during the flight, a strange storm had appeared ahead. The sky turned dark. Then, a bright white light surrounded the aircraft. All the instruments stopped working. For several minutes, they flew through complete silence. No stars, no clouds, nothing. Outside the windows, there was only endless white fog. Then suddenly, the light disappeared. Everything returned to normal. The crew believed they had simply experienced turbulence. They had no idea that 50 years had passed. Scientists eventually discovered something strange. The route where Flight 914 disappeared crossed a region over the Atlantic Ocean where magnetic disturbances had been recorded for decades. Some researchers believed the aircraft had entered a time anomaly, a place where time moved differently. But there was another explanation. When investigators examined the plane, they found tiny crystals embedded in the metal that had never been seen before. Their structure didn't match anything found naturally on Earth, and hidden inside the cockpit, they found a notebook belonging to the captain. The last page contained a message written in shaky handwriting. It said, "If anyone finds this plane, don't let us fly into the light again." We weren't alone in there. Nobody understood what the captain meant, but security cameras captured something even stranger. After all the passengers had left the plane, a dark figure was seen sitting alone in seat 27A, a seat that wasn't assigned to anyone. Seconds later, the cameras went black. When power returned, the figure had vanished. And so had Flight 914. Yes, the same plane that had just returned after 50 years disappeared again. And to this day, no one knows where Flight 914 is, or who was sitting in seat 27A.